Hello and welcome back to the Saint Auto channel. If you hadn't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so right now. It's free. Today we have coffee, fuel injectors, and a 68-degree wonderful day in late December. Guess what we're going to be doing? If you attempt anything you see in these videos, you could end up burnt, bruised, or bleeding.
Or you could save this much money, give it to your wife, and she'll go shopping. Bye!
We're going to start by removing the engine cover and the air cleaner box. And as with every one of my other videos, the stuff I use is going to be the link in the description of the video. These are all 10 millimeter. Wire connector right here. It has a release right here. You have to push in. It goes to right here. Air filter. And two more 10 millimeter bolts. Now we're going to want to get the wires out of the way. We have a 10 millimeter bolt here. And two 10 millimeter ground bolts here. This is loose to where we can take the connectors loose from the injectors themselves. It's pretty hard on the fingers pinching those, so I'll use these pliers. See, it's just a release right here. Try not to damage the connectors. Now as I pull this back, you can see there's a bolt here and here. Well, and of course it fell all the way down. That's one of the reasons why I like to keep, and this is another tip from me to you, I keep a piece of cardboard underneath the engine bay when I'm working on stuff, because when I drop a bolt like that, it goes down and lands on a nice clean piece of cardboard, makes it so much easier to find and less likely to bounce and roll around into weird, odd places. It smells like race day. Okay, I've got the fuel rail disconnected and far enough away where I can get the injectors out. Just reach in here behind there. Start plucking them out. Looky here. Wow, that's pretty nasty. Can you see that? There's a lot of carbon buildup on it. Well, that was cylinder number 4. This is cylinder number 3. Now, if you want to see what the spray actually looks like coming out of these, you'll need to watch my other video where I show how to test, rig up a thing to test injectors. Now, we can't just stab the brand new injectors in here. We've got to clean up where they go. Make sure we get any trash that would go down in there out of there, so we're not forcing trash down into the cylinders. See all that trash? Do this twice. All right, now you can't just shove them in there dry. We got to get some good old-fashioned Vaseline. Okay, on the old plugs, if you want to know whether they're aftermarket or OEM, you can see right here it says Denso. Can you see that? It's easier to see on the original ones I'm taking out. It is on the replacement ones. It's pretty difficult because it's not as brightly fixed, but it does say Denso right there. Maybe you can see it better on one of the other ones. Right here. It says Denso. Those are the best ones to use. Of course, there are cheaper aftermarket ones available. I will put a link in the description. Meanwhile, put a little bit of Vaseline. I mean, it's just regular petroleum jelly, Vaseline. And you just put a little bit of it on each O-ring, because if you don't put some on each O-ring, the O-ring will roll or cut or break when you're trying to put your fuel rail back on. Off-brand Q-tips are more likely to shed some of the fibers, and you don't want even a tiny bit of that cotton. Now, when you're done lubing them all, take that Q-tip, go down here where you were cleaning before, and use it to do a final cleaning with the Q-tip that's already saturated with Vaseline. And that way, you'll make sure you get the last little bits of trash and you're lubing the hole at the same time. See, and it looked clean, but it's not. Now that everything's all nice and clean and lubed up, we can stab the injectors down in the holes. Remember to keep your connectors where you can get to them. Double check by looking at all your old injectors to make sure all the old O-rings are still on them and they're not, none of them are stuck up in there. Now it's a good time to put Loctite or anti-seize on all of your bolts. I like the ones that go in the plastic and hold the air box and all that in there. I like to put the anti-seize on them. They're going to come out more frequently. But the bigger bolts that go into metal on metal, I like to put just a little bit of Loctite on those. Either way, it prevents corrosion so that you don't end up with damaged threads. Don't use your power tools for putting the bolts back in. Better off doing that by hand. Because if you can feel there's something wrong, you can stop before you cross thread something and ruin threads. You can also use a torque wrench for your final torque, but most of all, doing things by hand when you're putting things back together instead of using a power tool allows you to develop a feel for the amount of torque you're using, so that at some point in the future you can get to the point where you don't have to use a torque wrench for everything. It's time to put the connectors back on, so we want to use a little dielectric grease on every connection. Doesn't take a lot. And we want to use it on our grounds as well. Except for those two 12 millimeters holding the fuel rail, from this point on, it's just 10 millimeter action. We've got a catch can, and in another video we're going to take this hose for the PCV and we're going to install a catch can. So check out our Toyota playlist or our Prius playlist for other things like that. Another video, we put a new water pump on the Prius. Another Prius video, we've rebuilt the high voltage batteries. So on and on and on. So far there's over right at 495 videos on our Sane Auto channel, not counting all the videos we put on our Sane Enterprises channel. So be sure to check those out. We've got Prius repairs, Ford repairs. They're all busted up into different playlists, so they're easy to find. If you're interested in the Ford repairs, you can go to the Ford playlist, GM playlist, Mopar playlist. Also, I guess that to explain the shirt I'm wearing, just from the St. Jude's Car Show. This is to help support one of the children's charity car shows that we film and support with our channel. And there's a whole playlist of those car shows as well. This hose goes into some little clips that are down here. Don't forget you've got a connector here. And again, with the petroleum jelly right here, this helps prevent having unmetered air leaks that would make your engine run too rich or too lean. Don't tighten these clamps as tight as they'll go. Ta-da! So that's how you replace the injectors on a third generation Prius. Now the shirt, St. Jude's. This is one of our favorite car shows that we like to film and support every year because it supports the St. Jude Children's Hospital. It's one of our favorite children's charity car shows. We also do veterans charity car shows, so go check out our playlists on the car shows. And we will probably be doing our first St. Auto car show this year. So check that out too. Until the next video, get off the couch and get dirty. Welcome to St. Auto. We're so glad you're here. We don't just do repairs and tool reviews.
Bienvenida a St. Auto. Nosotros no solamente hacemos reparaciones de autos.
We also film hot rods and mod rods, project cars, classic cars, antiques.
Nosotros también filmea autos antiguos, mod rods, hot rods, cualquiera.
We also like to take you with us to the car shows and the cruise-ins. So make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss anything.
Me gustaría llevarte con nosotros a los cruisings y car shows. Entonces, empuja ese botón y toca de campaña para que no pierda nada.